play that both ways. Let's say that life caused you to become something. You know what you don't want, so you know what you do want. Life caused you to become something more, but you didn't go, not right away. Instead, you joined the group who complains about where you are. It's an online chat group. It gets bigger every day. Some people really point out well what's going wrong. So, as you're beating the drum of where you are, you feel the negative emotion. And if you are practicing the art of allowing in the way we're encouraging, you say, oh, this negative emotion means I've expanded, but I'm holding myself apart from my own expansion. Now, what is it that I wanted? Why do I want it? Let me see if I can find some positive aspects. Let me see if I can find something to appreciate. And as you do, you turn yourself toward your expansion, and the more you reach for better feeling thoughts, the more you complete your expansion. And now, on the way to that, you feel wonderful. Of course, when you get there, there'll be more contrasts which will cause you to expand still further because it's a never-ending expansion. You have to be never-ending if you're eternal. You agree? So let's say that instead of expanding and keeping up with it and expanding and keeping up with it, which, by the way, is the recipe for an enthusiastic, passionate, eager life, let's say instead that life caused you to expand, but instead of moving in the direction of the new idea, you continue to beat the drum of where you are. You beat the drum of where you are because, by golly, you are going to defend wanting that by pointing out how wrong this is. And it was really annoying what happened anyway. In other words, the deception or the unfairness or the injustice or the horror of it. In other words, as you look at it, you know you're right. And you know that you can get a lot of people to agree with you that you are right. You know that the more you talk about it, the more there are people out there that will agree with you. They will defend your position. You are right in this negative emotion. So you don't deliberately try to find the path of least resistance. In fact, you seem to deliberately try to find the path of most resistance. And as you do, law of attraction brings you more evidence, and so you get feeling worse and worse. Now, here's the good news in that. Do you know that even though you're beating the drum hard of what you do not want, this contrast of really knowing what you don't want causes you to really know what you do want. So it's interesting. When you get something stuck in your craw, when you get some issue that you're trying to wrestle to the ground and kill it, you never do, but when you make that effort, as you try to wrestle it to the ground and kill it, what happens is you just become more. You ask for still more. So even in your resistance to turning early on in the direction of what you want, what happens is you just expand all the further. Now, what is the value of that? In other words, what is the value of expanding to a place where you don't go? Well, the big value is that eventually you will release resistance. In other words, you might meditate and release resistance. You might have moments that you feel good. You might be distracted by a football game. You might find music that you like. In other words, most of you don't stay focused 100% of the time. You come close in some cases on the thing that you do not want. In other words, there are always those moments when you don't. In fact, when you slumber is an opportunity for you to release resistance. So in every single case, the contrast that caused you to be more serves you. But you get to decide how well you play this gap. In other words, life is always about managing your gap. Managing the gap between the vibration that is really you and who you are being while you're here in this physical body. So, let's